believe there are people who are watching this show and they are mad at me wanasikia kunichinja because I didn't get to ask about the story of how you lost your leg. Would you be kind enough to share it? Ama mko sawa? Mnataka kuijua? Because you've talked about, oh, my leg was blown up. Please.
Yeah, so it was one day we had gone for a briefing. So before you go for a patrol,
Yes.
you go for a briefing. So this briefing is, they tell you, okay, this is the map where you're going to a Taliban stronghold, and this is the areas that you're going to be. So we went for that brief, and then we knew what we were going to do. So for me, I was working with fire support group. So fire support group means that you're the top of the chain, that we have all the weapons. So we have the heaviest machine gun, which fires a 7.62 bullet, which is big. And then we have a javelin, which is next to us. A javelin is a javelin missile. So we were told that's what we were going to do the next day. So that previous night, I actually didn't sleep. I had a very bad feeling about where we were going to go. So we were going to oversee the other troops doing their patrols when we're on top of a hill, when they are doing their patrols, trying to clear the houses, looking for explosives, things like that, the Taliban. So the next day in the morning, I woke up, and one of my friends who's been in the military, I think he had done about 6 tours. Tours, I mean deployments to Iraq and Afghanistan. So he looked at me that morning and he said, Dave, you don't look okay. And I said to him, I have a bad feeling about today. And he said, don't worry, everything will be okay. So I was driving a vehicle called a Jackal vehicle. So a Jackal vehicle is a vehicle which is armored. It's open at the top. So I'm the driver. I have my weapon at the door. Then I have my boss, who's on my left-hand side. He has the light machine gun, which you mount it on the vehicle. And then you have the heaviest machine gun. It's called an HMG at the back. So that machine gun, when it starts firing, the bullets just pass over your head. So we went to this place where the whole day it was quiet, and we were watching over the troops. So my friend who was manning the gun at the back, the HMG, he said, I'm bored, I need some action. So me and my boss, we turned around to him and said, look, don't wish. Before even we finished that, we got ambushed by the Taliban. So we didn't even know where the rounds were coming from, because now they had realized that the ground troops had already gone. So it was us, because we are the last people to leave the ground. So they realized that those troops have left. So we are 4 vehicles. That means we are 12 people. And the Taliban ambushed us. So when they ambushed us, these other 3 other vehicles, they're trying to figure out where the rounds are coming from. Me and my boss were also trying to figure out where the rounds are coming from. But now they were firing from 3 different points. So one was on our right. Now us, we were concentrating on the right. And the other ones in the middle, the other ones on the left. So actually the round hit, one of the bullets hit the aerial, and it snapped into 2. So now I was thinking, okay, we're in trouble here.
You can't communicate.
You can't communicate. Now you have to shout. Because now remember, all these 4 vehicles have the heaviest machine gun. But now I noticed there was something weird. Our vehicle was not shaking. So when it's shaking, you know that the machine gun at the back is singing.
Yes.
So this friend of mine, actually, we didn't know he was in shock.
The guy who was calling for action?
Yes. So he panicked. So him panicking, he couldn't, because that machine gun is very heavy, he couldn't cock the weapon.
So he was still?
So he was trying to cock the weapon, but he was also afraid because he saw the aerial snapped into 2 because of the bullet. So now I had to leave my driver's seat, jump there, cock the weapon, and then go back to the driver's seat. So now that's when he started firing. Because now, you know, when you're there, you panic.
You understood that was what's happening. He had panicked.
He had panicked. Because remember, you're in a situation where now rounds are hitting your vehicle, bullets are flying over, you know. So he had panicked. So we fought for, like, I would say, almost 2 hours. So now my boss saw this is getting worse, so we had to call for air support from the Americans. because the British and the Americans, they work together. So now that's when they called the air support. And when you hear, so the Americans came with an Apache. So when you hear an Apache be on top of your head, you know, at least we are safe. And when the Taliban hear there's an Apache, they know here it's bad. So they can even dig the ground with their hands, because when that is on top
Get in the ground.
yeah, it's crazy. So that's when now my boss said, we need to leave. So 50 meters away from where we were, because it was getting dark, I had to wear my night visions on, because on the helmet, now I had to wear, because it was dark. So when you wear them, I don't know if you've watched the movies, and then when you see the soldiers wearing, you see green.
Yes.
So I had to wear that, because that to me, it shows that it's clear. I can see the road and I can see everything. So as I was driving, I drove over an IED, an improvised explosive device. From there, I can't remember anything. I just found myself in UK in the hospital, yeah.
Yeah, quite a story. And that's quite a story. And it goes into how you lost your leg, and then now overcoming that.
Yes.
Being the person you are, having been trained to that level.
Yeah.
Then coming, what can you tell people about acceptance?
I think the best thing that I would say is, no matter what's your situation in life, you have to accept first. And remember, you're a human being. I think most of the time where we normally go wrong is, most of the time you find people go through problems and they are afraid to share. And that is because of what is happening in the society. Where if I come and share a problem with you, you turn it into gossip. Instead of now looking at it, okay, David is going through a problem. He's my friend, or he's my brother, she's my sister. How can I help this person? Whatever they tell you, don't turn it to gossip. Because remember, I believe, me, myself, heaven and hell is here on earth where we live today. If I do something wrong to you, I'll pay it here. I don't have to go to hell to go and pay the price. You'll pay it here. And I'm sure you've seen living examples of where people have done bad things to other people,
Yeah.
and things turn around to them and you ask, how did that happen? That's because maybe that person during their lifetime, they did something wrong to someone. So for me is, try and understand we are all human beings. We are all judged by one person, and that's God. You're not in a position to judge me. I'm not in a position to judge you. So if you look at things that way, you'll find that life becomes much easier, regardless of the toughest situation that you're facing in life. There are people who have money, millionaires, billionaires, but what do they end up doing? Committing suicide. Through what? They were drug addicts or they were alcoholics. And you ask yourself, they had all that money. Why is their life like this? That's because, for me, I look at it this way. I know, yes, we need money to do everything that we do in life. But for me, I don't take money as a priority to me. That's because I've seen people with my own two eyes, how life can change from 100 to 0 real quick. And they end up in poverty. How many people do you know had money? And right now, if you look at them, you can't even believe it's them. Those are the living examples that we are supposed to look at. So for me, if people or someone is going through something, the way I'm used to talking to people, one thing that I do respect is whatever you share with me, it stays with me. Because I want the best for you. Because at the end of the day, if I've saved this life today, I know that's a blessing.
Yeah. And I believe in my experience, the little experience that I have in how people are, it's because you see how it's written that my people perish for lack of knowledge. Most of the issues people deal with, for someone to come tell you their secret and then turn it into gossip, it's a mindset. They have no idea the kind of damage they are creating.
Yes.
If they knew, they wouldn't. So how much work needs to be done in terms of awareness, because mental health has been trivialized in this country.
But I believe even what you've just said, there are some people who know what they are doing. It's not about the knowledge. They know what they are doing because they want to see another human being suffer. And there are some who know that if I do this, this will damage this person. That's because that person who's not turning that into gossip has humanity in them. There are some people that you could attest, they don't have humanity in them. They don't care about the other person as long as them themselves
yes.
they're succeeding and they're okay.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah.
That's typical human beings.